Hi everyone, I'm Julie with Heal to Change. Have you hit a wall in your life? You can't seem to move forward. You've got depression, you have aches and pains, inflammation in your body. Do you have problems financially? Things that are keeping you from moving forward. You're stuck. Sometimes if you talk to your inner child, you can open that up and life will change for the best. Now, going in and meeting your inner child, sometimes it's very heartbreaking. So you'll need a box of Kleenex. You could just, there's something that you're feeling. You don't have forgiveness, or you have judgment, regrets, disappointments in your childhood. You can go back to that child where you had that scene. Go back to that scene and talk to that child. I'm going to show you how to do that. If there's for some reason where maybe something happened, you were beaten, abused, verbally, physically, you were sexually harassed, sexually abused, you weren't feeling loved, maybe your parents weren't there. Those are the two people that are so important to you, mom and dad, and when they're not there for you, you almost feel unloved, like you've done something wrong. Well, you haven't done anything wrong, and although you're an adult now, you can go back and tell that child that they were loved. And even if they weren't loved, you can still go back and say, you grew up to be a beautiful person, a great person, a wonderful person. So this is just a short little film. I'm testing it out and going to get some feedback, waiting for people to tell me if this is going to be helpful. So if this goes viral, I'll be surprised. So I still have doubt in myself. So I'm still working on myself because of my childhood. I had a lot of people make fun of me. I had people tell me I was ugly, and I still go through that every day. I'm still working with my inner child to tell her she's a beautiful woman in the future, and she was a beautiful child at that time. She's loved, and I love her right now. So what you would do to talk to your own inner child, make sure you have a box of Kleenex. I don't think I'm going to be crying because I'm going to be explaining this to you, but what you would do is think of a scene that's very upsetting to you, something that you remember. And say, for example, it was 5 years old. I will use 3 because I remember that very clearly. Kind of. But when you sit and you focus, just sit still, make sure your phones are turned off, no kids are around, there's no noise, no garbage truck, no lawnmowers. Sit and just be total quiet and just relax with your eyes shut. And visualize you have a chair in front of you. Getting emotional already. And think of that child. You're a certain age. Think of that that age. Obviously, I'm still releasing things. At 3 years old, I lost my dad. So I would think of that little girl. Now, a child doesn't know that they're not to blame. So we as a child take in all the emotion and we feel unloved. We don't know why this person left us or why this person did something to us, why they would hurt us, be mean, whatever it is. Visualize your inner self at an age where you a scene that you remember. So I would take myself at 3. My father passed away. I would see my inner 3-year-old and look at her, visualize her sitting in the chair in front of you. And when you see her, tell her that you love her, that what happened was not her fault or his fault. Tell her that what her dad did wasn't her fault, that she's loved, and when he went away, it had nothing to do with her. When you're a child, you don't know the difference. you're going to take in all sorts of emotions and hold on to certain things. Some of us don't as much as others. Take that scene, talk to your inner self, and tell her or him, I love you, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault what happened to you and how you feel. And explain to your inner child that you grew up to be a wonderful person. You are loved and you have a family. You have a child or children. You have a husband or wife. You have dogs. You are happy. You've grown up and got a great job. Whatever the story is, explain to that inner child. And tell her or him how much they mean to you now, and that you are so excited to express this to them. And visualize, if they're upset or crying, tell them it's okay. It's okay. It's not okay what happened, but it's not their fault. It's not their fault. And if you can visualize taking them by their hand and walking them through wherever you live today and showing them what a great life you have, showing them the beautiful children you have, the beautiful dog, cats, reptiles, whatever you might have, tell them you did okay. You will do okay. And you've done nothing wrong. You're just a child. You're not supposed to know. That's what parents are for. You forgive yourself. That's what you have to do, and let it go. You tell her or him to let it go, and everything's going to be okay. You don't want to have this burden on you. You don't want to drag it on, because it was never your fault to do any of this. And it'll help you move forward. Sometimes you can ask them if there's something you like to do. You can ask them, what will make you feel better? And listen. What do you remember doing back then at that age? I always did ice cream. So I would take my inner self out for ice cream. Back then they only had vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, so I didn't have to worry about how many flavors there were, because I could only hear 1 out of 3. So I did take her out for ice cream. And I asked her if she wanted a hug. And I gave her the biggest hug. And we cried together. It was perfect. And I asked her if she felt loved. And I didn't let her go until she knew everything was okay. And when she said everything was okay, I told her that I loved her and I let her go. Now, if this explains, hopefully you can do this. I will have a better video, but this is just a test. We'll see what happens with this. You can do this with many scenes in your life, because there's a lot of years in there. There could be, I only have a few that I'm aware of. I'm not sure. But you want to tell them, if anything, you want to tell them you love them, because a lot of us are missing the love. And it's not saying I love you, it's feeling the love from that person, holding them. Even though it's in your past, you can still let go of a lot of things. You don't want to hold on to it anymore, you want to let it go. So, that's what you have to do to meet your inner child. You can go to different stages, different ages in your life. It may not be released in the first time. I will do another video that tells you how to test that to see if it's still in you. And you could also go back to your inner child at that same scene and see if you break down and you still cry about it. It's not released, it's still there. And you got to do a little bit more forgiving. Have the child do more forgiving and tell her to let it go. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. She's a child. And she doesn't know any better. She's not supposed to. So I hope that helps. I will be back. Have a wonderful journey, and hopefully I will be talking to you. Thank you.